When consumers choose beef, they expect a high-quality eating experience. So how can research help us ensure we're delivering the best product possible? Here to talk about beef quality research and its impact on the industry is Dr. Jessica Lancaster, NCBA's Director of Product Quality Research. Dr. Lancaster, why is it so important that we utilize some Checkoff resources in looking at this whole topic around beef quality?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. As we think about our consumer market research, they quickly tell us that taste is the reason consumers choose beef.
Yeah.
And so our product quality research area really focuses on taste and that overall eating experience and making sure that that's the best for our consumers every time they choose beef.
So I'm curious, what are some of the factors that you're researching to try to uncover opportunities to improve beef quality?
Yeah, our program area covers everything from the production side as we look at management changes and how those impact product quality, to the handling of the product as we think about those processors in the industry and storage, and then ultimately the end consumer really has an impact on product quality. So understanding how those trade-offs impact tenderness, juiciness, and overall flavor of beef.
So you mentioned a couple of those. Maybe elaborate specifically what are the kinds of things that happen both in terms of production as well as the actual handling of the product that can either positively or negatively impact the consumer's eating experience?
Yeah, so one of those that we've been looking at recently is cattle have gotten bigger over the last decades. So looking at as those carcasses increase, how do we handle that from a chilling standpoint, but then also a fabrication standpoint? We also know we're really emphasizing using the entire beef carcass to be incredibly sustainable. So as we look at some of those alternative cuts, really doing some research around the best way to cook and prepare those products for that good eating experience.
Yeah, that's a great point. I for one, I've never really eaten oxtail, and I'm embarrassed by it, but people say it's delicious if you know how to cook it. So that's a great example. I'm curious, as you think about the improvements we've made in product quality, tell us a little bit about what's happened in the industry in raising and elevating the quality of beef over the last couple of decades.
Yeah, we've made tremendous progress in the area of beef quality. 30 years ago, 1 in 4 steaks would not have had an acceptable eating experience.
Wow.
And that quickly turns our consumer away. So the industry really rallied around tenderness initiatives, and we've seen incredible progress in overall tenderness. We've also had a really cool group of scientists looking at flavor of beef product, knowing that once we have tenderness, flavor is also incredibly important in a positive eating experience. And so over the past decades, we've really rallied around that. And though it seems like we've done a lot of work, now it's incredibly important that we maintain that high eating experience and continue to make improvements for the future.
Well, and speaking of improvements, I wanted to ask you that. I mean, we have come a long way, but as a researcher, what would you identify as some improvement options and areas for the beef industry?
Yeah, I think there's quite a few. Coming out of the COVID pandemic, we certainly saw an increased need for freezing research and understanding how we best freeze and thaw beef. So that's an initiative we're really working on right now. We also know sustainability is incredibly important. So understanding the role that product quality as we think about beef shelf life, and when you select product at a retail case, the role that we can play there from a color and stability standpoint.
So what resources would you point our viewers to if they're looking for ways that they can improve the quality of beef they produce?
We have some great resources on beefresearch.org, but we also have a number of our researchers coming to conventions all around the United States to really provide that cutting edge information to our producers across the country.
Well, there's no doubt beef quality is a critical driver to beef demand. So thank you for all the work you and your team is doing in this area.
Yeah, thanks for having me.